Now we're going to just quickly move to Boston. This is the first poem in the Boston section. It's called What Are You Dreaming? The sheet never covers you, you cover it. Naked, unashamed, on your back, one knee bent, breathing short, choked night breaths. I never sleep on my back, although the doctor says I should. I make just enough morning noise, no competition for the gargantuan garbage truck grinding dinosaur large down Prince Street. Your morning erection points a little to the left of your stomach. Sometimes in the morning, when I am dressed for work, I want to climb back into bed next to you. I want to whisper in your ear, in the language of sleep, ask you what his name is. I know he is smooth, blonde, not coarse and muddy like me. His muscles are taut, intricate, curvaceous. He glistens, never sweats. You smack your lips, roll so as not to disturb the cat, alternately purring and hissing at your feet. There is no room in this bed for me now. I put my shoes back on, fall down the stairs, knowing nothing will wake you, and it's foolish to even try. And these are the last two I'm going to read. This one, the first one takes us back to Chicago, and the last poem is the last poem in the book, and it ends in Washington, D.C., but this is a Chicago poem. My mother says the F word. At first, it felt like I'd been slapped across the face, open-palmed and swift. It reminded me of how she would try to break up fights between me and my brother in the backseat of the car while she was driving. She would take the shoe off the foot that wasn't needed for braking or accelerating and flail around behind her on the off chance of making contact with a flying arm or leg. This would make us laugh so hard that we soon forgot why we had been fighting. My father had been saying it for years, the word coming out as easily as air. I know my mother must have been dying to try it out for herself, slip into it like an expensive Italian pump. I know I learned to say it before I ever heard my father use it at the dinner table, over the phone, in a traffic jam. He waited until we were old enough before he spat it at us, watched us retreat a little, then treat him like one of our schoolyard buddies. It will take some getting used to hearing it from my mother's mouth, a mouth not accustomed to such expressions or outbursts, a mouth full of praise and kisses, outlined in quicksilver coral lipstick, and easing into the smile of someone who knows they're too old to have their mouth washed out with a bar of soap. And then this is back in DC again. This is the last poem in the book and the last poem I'm reading right now. This is called The Boyfriend from Another Planet. Thank you all. Thank you for coming and for being attentive. Thank you. The Boyfriend from Another Planet. Your hands tell you that his skin is like yours, warm to the touch, sensitive to pressure. There was hair on his forearm, short and soft and curved in the same direction. It is lighter than the coarse hairs on your arms, bones and knuckles and joints under his long fingers, nails manicured to a male length. You fight to keep your hands from the top of his head, from parting the curls to look for antennae or strange markings. He tastes like you now, only better, synthesized and processed. He could take it with him, bottle it, and sell it back to you at a discount. He gives you a different kind of goodnight kiss after the first date, something alien, unidentified. It is shaped like nothing you have ever seen in your own solar system. You are aroused but certain that you will drift like snow into the sleep of infancy, a fetus, an embryo, the fragile eggshell rest of peace and safety. When you close your eyes, you see images of 50s black and white science fiction movies. When you open them, his eyes are still there, close enough to lick. Crystalline, yet faintly pastel, it's a night's work just looking into them. His car is ordinary, No glowing digital dashboard, no outrageous numbers on the odometer, no rocket boosters necessary for intergalactic travel. Gravity treats you like equals, even though you would swear that for a few seconds your feet left the ground. At last you admit that he is down to earth, with a voice like warm milk and no trace of an accent. He tells you more about himself, revealing nothing unusual or suspicious. Still, you know he is unlike any other man, naked or dressed, that you have ever met. And as he drives away, his tail lights like supernovas. You look up into the starry night and wish on every one, dim, blinking, blazing. Thank you very much.
Anyone have any questions for Gregg Shapiro?
What inspired these poems?
Oh boy,
That's
a great question. It covers a long period. It covers about it covers more than 20 years. The material there, so it was sort of coming out, being gay. There's some stuff about family in there, but mostly it's just about being gay and living in a city. I was born in Chicago, but ended up spending much of my youth in the suburbs, not that far from Chicago, but enough that it wasn't like living in a city. And so the book, I think, really tries to reflect my experiences, in sort of urban gay life.
Were any of these particular poems that really was heartfelt at the most significance in your writing section?
It's a first book, so there's a lot of stuff, weighing on that, and putting it together. You're giving the poems a lot more significance because it's your first book. So it's like all the other poems are going, why didn't you pick me? And so I'm like, be quiet, you'll get your chance. But it was rough because I thought, oh boy, these are like the favored sons and the favored sons and daughters, and but they also fit together well in terms of the theme. But I've already started. The second book is already finished and ready to go. So that these. I feel very close to them, but I don't love them any more than the other kids.
Give me let's give some insight into your second book.
Sure. Well, as of right now, the second book is called Diet of Strange Men. And I think that it's a little funnier. I hope it's a little. And there's definitely some funny stuff in here. There's also a lot of really serious stuff. I think the second one's a little bit funnier, and it deals with a lot of different issues than the first book does. So